The wizarding world, its timeline, is this massive, incredible tapestry, right? It's woven with ancient history, huge dark wars, and some seriously tangled futures. Honestly, it can be a lot to piece together. So today, we're going to unravel every single thread and show you exactly how it all connects.
I mean, think about it. You've got prequels like Fantastic Beasts and sequels like The Cursed Child. The world of Harry Potter has grown so much bigger than just the original 7 books. It can feel like this giant, tangled web. But don't worry, we're about to show you how every single piece fits together perfectly.
Okay, so to really understand the world that Harry lives in, we have to go way, way back. We're talking long before Hogwarts was even a thing, even before the Ministry of Magic existed.
Now, you might find this hard to believe, but for centuries, wizards and muggles actually lived out in the open, side by side. It was a time of cooperation. But, well, that relationship started to go south as muggles grew to fear what they couldn't understand. This distrust just festered and grew, eventually leading to outright persecution and, yeah, the infamous witch trials. So this all came to a head in 1692 with a huge, world-changing decision, the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy. This was a global law that forced the entire magical community to go into hiding. Forever. This one law created the foundation of the secret world we know and love, and it basically shapes every single event that follows. It's the reason the Ministry was so good at denying Voldemort's return centuries later. They were already experts at keeping secrets.
All right, let's jump forward a couple of centuries. This new, hidden wizarding world is about to face its first major global threat. And this one came from inside the house, led by a charismatic and absolutely terrifying dark wizard.
And at the very heart of this conflict, you have two of the most brilliant minds of their generation. A young, gifted Albus Dumbledore and the radical Gellert Grindelwald. You know, they were once incredibly close, bonded over this dangerous idea that wizards should rule for the greater good. But while Dumbledore eventually turned away from that path, haunted by it, Grindelwald took that idea and twisted it into a terrifying plan for global conquest.
Grindelwald's influence just spread like wildfire across the globe through the 1920s, sparking the first ever global wizarding war. The conflict was horrible, and it raged for years, only ending in 1945 when Dumbledore, after avoiding him for so long, finally confronted his old friend in a duel that would become the stuff of wizarding legend.
But here's the thing, the peace didn't last long. Even as Grindelwald was defeated, a new, and you could argue, a much more monstrous dark wizard was already starting his own rise to power, and he was doing it right under Dumbledore's nose at Hogwarts.
It's honestly so chilling when you trace the transformation of Tom Riddle. It started while he was still this brilliant, promising student at Hogwarts. But his fascination with dark magic and his Slytherin family tree led him down this just awful path. From opening the Chamber of Secrets to creating his very first Horcruxes, he systematically got rid of his own humanity, until he finally re-emerged as Lord Voldemort, plunging the world right back into another devastating war.
So, how did he plan to become invincible? What was his big master plan? Well, it all came down to this horrifying piece of dark magic, the Horcrux. By literally murdering people to split his soul and then hiding those fragments in objects, Voldemort truly believed he could achieve immortality and conquer death itself.
And Voldemort's first downfall, at the hands of a baby, brings us to the part of the timeline that we all know and love the best, the 7-year saga of Harry Potter, the Boy Who Lived.
From the moment Harry sets foot in Hogwarts in 1991, all the way to the final epic battle of Hogwarts in 1998, these 7 years are the absolute core of the entire saga. Each school year builds on the last, and what starts as a simple story about a magical school slowly turns into an all-out war against the forces of darkness, defining a whole generation along the way.
And to really appreciate the sheer scale of bringing this 7-year story to the screen, just think about this. If you were to sit down and watch all 8 movies back to back, you would need almost 20 hours. That is 1,178 minutes of pure cinematic magic.
But the story doesn't just stop with Voldemort's final defeat. Oh no, 19 years later, a brand new generation has to deal with the massive, complicated legacy their parents left behind.
And that leads to the central, dangerous question at the heart of the sequel play, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. What if you could change the past? As Harry's son, Albus, is about to find out, messing with time can have absolutely devastating consequences.
So the play kicks off in 2017. Harry's son, Albus, is really struggling, living in his dad's shadow. So, trying to right a past wrong, he and his friend travel back in time to save Cedric Diggory. But every single attempt to fix history just creates a more broken, more terrifying timeline. Their meddling creates one world where Ron and Hermione never even get married, and another where a bitter, humiliated Cedric becomes a Death Eater, which leads to a future where Voldemort wins. It is a very hard lesson. You are not supposed to change the past.
Which brings us, believe it or not, full circle, right back to the beginning. But this time, with a new twist. This whole epic timeline is about to be explored all over again from a totally fresh perspective.
That's right, HBO is developing what they're calling a decade-long series that promises a super faithful book-by-book adaptation of the original story. We're talking an entirely new cast, with J.K. Rowling herself helping guide it as an executive producer. It's aiming to bring this whole vast timeline to a new generation starting in 2027. So after tracing this entire incredible history, from ancient secrets to dark wars and tangled futures, it really leaves us with one final thought. From the legendary duel between Dumbledore and Grindelwald to the night Voldemort first fell, if you could witness just one single event on this timeline, what would it be?